Hi everyone, welcome back to Mediterranean. My name's Matt, out for another great weekend of adventures here in the Pacific Northwest. I got here a little earlier than I'd planned on, which is great. More time to enjoy the space. I'm going to take my time getting camp set up, and I'll check back in a little bit. As you can see, I brought the Cabela's Deluxe Camp Kitchen with me again. Figured why not? I'm going to be here for 2 days. Let's make the most of it. Then I've got the hammock set up over here underneath these trees. Should make for a nice night of stargazing. And the sun's shining, birds are chirping, got a nice breeze, you can hear the river nearby. It's going to be a great weekend, but it's time to maybe crack open a beer and sit back and relax. Man, the afternoon really flew by. Glad I got here as early as I did because, man, it just zipped by. I'm starting to get hungry now. I didn't really know what I wanted to make on this trip, so last minute I stopped in a grocery store before I got here, and the selection wasn't that great at that grocery store. So tonight it's going to be pretty simple. Just a simple stir-fried noodle dish, and do something a little more interesting tomorrow. Right now I'm pretty hungry, so let's get that going. All right, it's probably still way too hot, but let's dig in and see how it turned out. It's not bad. It's actually kind of good. Probably something I'd try making again. I wish I had a little more ingredients, like some chili crisp, some chili oil, I don't know, some cabbage, maybe some other things to kind of church it up a bit. But hey, not bad for stopping into a small town grocery store and grabbing what you can find, making a pretty good campsite meal. So I'm gonna sit down and enjoy this and maybe go for a walk in a bit. It's about 9:30. Still have plenty of light, probably light for another hour. Had a nice walk around the campground earlier, scoped things out, and I came back here and just hung out, listened to the birds, stared at the trees, listened to the river. I was going to do a fire tonight, everything set up and ready to go, but woke up a little early this morning, so I'm going to call it an early night, crawl in the hammock, and hopefully get a early start on the day tomorrow. But good time so far, and I'll check in the morning. Morning. I crashed out pretty hard once I got in the hammock, but then a little bit after midnight, woke up wide awake, couldn't go back to sleep, so I just sat there and looked up at the stars, watched satellites pass over till about 3 o'clock in the morning, finally fell back asleep, and woke up a couple times after that and decided to just sleep in a little bit, get caught up on my sleep. Overcast right now, which is kind of surprising, but I know it'll melt off by midday. Right now I'm just going to enjoy some coffee and settle in, decide what I'm going to do for the day. Alright, let's go for a hike. Finished. That was a nice little trail. Some cool stuff to see, and now it's time to grab some lunch and head back to camp. So on the drive back from the trailhead to the campground, I stopped off at a taqueria and grabbed a torta with lengua. I'm going to enjoy that with a can of my cherry limeade goza that I brewed. It's got salt in it, so it's good to rehydrate. It's got electrolytes. It's got what plants need. I'm going to enjoy my lunch, chill out for a little bit, maybe go for another walk in a little bit, and I'll check in later. After my lunch, I stretched on the hammock, and next thing I know, time traveled to 6 o'clock. So I should probably get some dinner going. It's a fairly straightforward recipe. This is something my wife makes on special occasions. We call it sausage braid. Probably should come up with a better name for it than that. Usually at home, it'd probably only take, 30 minutes to prepare. But since we're doing this in the Dutch oven, need a little more time. So let's get going. All right, looks like it turned out pretty well. Obviously, this is 4 to 5 servings. I brought foil and I threw it in the cooler and take it home to share with my wife. I did have some trouble with the crescent dough. The tube exploded on the drive up. I think the altitude change made it explode. Ended up getting soaked in the cooler, so it was really hard to work the dough. My wife makes it at home, like she can able to crisscross the braid to where it looks really fancy and nice. But I had to work with wet dough, but it'll still taste great. It's probably way too hot, so I'm gonna take a bite, see how it is. I'm really happy I'm able to get stuff dialed in with the Dutch oven. For a little bit, I thought about getting one of those Coleman ovens that you put on top of your camp stove. And I still might get one in the future, but honestly, the way I have things dialed in with the Dutch oven, I don't really think I need it. It'd be a little more convenient, but I wouldn't be using as much gas. And it's a lot more fun in the Dutch oven, especially now that I know how to use it and I don't burn it. Let's taste it. Hot. So hot. It is molten hot, but the dough is cooked perfectly. Tastes just like how when my wife makes it. Not as pretty like her, but still pretty good. I'm actually going to set this down, let it cool for probably 15 minutes. Well, after an amazing night of sleep, got up, started breaking down camp. Didn't really feel like breakfast, so I just drank some chocolate milk I happened to have in the cooler and finished breaking things down. Man, another great weekend. I have to take advantage of every second I can get. If you haven't already, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Besides it helping out with the algorithm, also just love hearing where you're watching from. Things like that really do make a difference in supporting a small channel like this. Speaking of support, I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters as always. Really appreciate you guys. It means the world to me. Having those Patreon supporters goes a long way towards getting me out more often, covering gas, covering food. So if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter yourself, you'd be really awesome by doing so. I think that does it for this adventure. Man, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate you taking your time out of your day to spend some time with me out in the woods. So until the next time, stay awesome.